Europe, a continent we think we know. A land of ancient cities, grand museums, and famous landmarks photographed 1 billion times. But beyond the crowded tourist trails, beyond the postcards and the guidebooks, Europe hides secrets so strange and so beautiful that they seem to belong to another world entirely. Imagine a beach where the sand glows electric blue at night. A cave of ice that shifts and changes every single year. A village frozen in time, untouched for 1,000 years. A lake that vanishes and reappears with the seasons. Mountains so jagged and dramatic they look like the teeth of a sleeping dragon. Waterfalls that plunge into bottomless canyons of impossible turquoise. These are the places that most travelers never see. The hidden corners of a continent that still holds the power to leave you breathless. In this journey, we will travel across Europe to discover 12 of the most unreal, otherworldly, and jaw-dropping places on the entire continent. Some of them look like they belong on another planet. Some of them seem impossible, and all of them will make you question everything you thought you knew about Europe. Prepare to see a side of Europe that will feel more like a dream than reality. Let us begin. One. The Faroe Islands, where land meets sky. We begin in the middle of the North Atlantic on a cluster of islands so dramatic they barely seem real. The Faroe Islands rise from the churning ocean like the remnants of a lost world, their emerald cliffs plunging thousands of feet straight into the sea. Here, waterfalls flow upward when the wind catches them, blown back over the cliffs before they can reach the ocean below. Villages of grass-roofed houses cling to impossible slopes. Sheep outnumber people, grazing on cliff edges that would terrify any human. And the famous village of Gatsadalur sits beside a waterfall that plunges directly off a cliff into the open Atlantic. Mist rolls constantly across the landscape, giving everything a mysterious, dreamlike quality. One moment, the sun breaks through to illuminate the emerald cliffs. The next, everything vanishes into fog. The Faroe Islands feel like the edge of the world, a place where land and sky and sea all blur together into something magical and untamed. Two. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia. Deep in the forests of Croatia lies a landscape so beautiful it seems painted rather than real. Plitvice Lakes National Park is a cascade of 16 terraced lakes, connected by hundreds of waterfalls that flow from one into the next in an endless symphony of falling water. The water here glows in impossible shades of turquoise, emerald, and azure blue. The colors shift constantly depending on the light, the minerals, and the angle of the sun. Wooden walkways wind directly over and between the lakes, allowing you to walk across water so clear you can see fish swimming beneath your feet. What makes Plitvice truly unreal is how it was formed. Over thousands of years, mineral deposits created natural dams of a substance called travertine, which continues to grow and reshape the lakes even today. This means the entire landscape is alive, constantly changing, with new waterfalls forming and old ones disappearing. It is one of the few places on Earth where you can watch nature sculpting itself in real time. Three. The Blue Caves of Zakynthos, Greece. Off the coast of the Greek island of Zakynthos, the Mediterranean Sea performs a trick of light so beautiful it hardly seems possible. The Blue Caves are a series of sea caverns where the water glows an electric, luminous blue, as if lit from within. The effect is created by sunlight reflecting off the white limestone beneath the water, which bounces the blue light up and through the caves. When you enter by boat, the entire cavern seems to shimmer with blue light. Even your own skin takes on a blue glow as you drift through the caverns. The water is so clear that boats appear to float on air, casting shadows on the seabed far below. Nearby lies Navajo Beach, or Shipwreck Beach, one of the most photographed beaches in the world. A rusted shipwreck sits half buried in brilliant white sand, surrounded by towering cliffs and turquoise water accessible only by boat. Together, the Blue Caves and Shipwreck Beach make this one of the most surreal coastlines in all of Europe. Four. Hallstatt, Austria. Nestled between a mirror-still lake and towering alpine mountains sits a village so perfect it looks like a fairy tale come to life. Hallstatt has stood beside its lake for over 7,000 years, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited places in Europe. Pastel-colored houses with steep roofs line the shore, their reflections doubling in the crystal-clear water. Swans glide across the lake. Church spires rise against the backdrop of dramatic mountains. In autumn, the surrounding forests blaze in gold and crimson. In winter, snow blankets the rooftops and the whole village glows with warm light against the white mountains. Hallstatt is so beautiful that it has been called the most beautiful village in the world. In fact, it is so iconic that an entire replica of it was built in China. But nothing compares to the original, where every narrow street and every lakeside view feels like stepping into a living postcard. This is the Europe of dreams, preserved and unchanged for thousands of years. Five. The Dolomites, Italy. In northern Italy rises a mountain range unlike any other on Earth. The Dolomites are a collection of pale limestone peaks that explode upward in jagged, dramatic spires, looking more like the teeth of some ancient beast than ordinary mountains. What makes the Dolomites truly unreal is a phenomenon called the enrosadera. At sunset, the pale stone catches the dying light and glows in brilliant shades of pink, rose, and fiery orange. For a few magical minutes each evening, the entire mountain range appears to be on fire, blazing against the darkening sky. These mountains were once ancient coral reefs, lifted from the sea hundreds of millions of years ago. Now they tower over emerald valleys dotted with wildflowers, mirror-still alpine lakes, and traditional mountain villages. Whether wrapped in morning mist, glowing pink at sunset, or blanketed in fresh snow, the Dolomites are among the most dramatic and beautiful landscapes in all of Europe. Six. The ice caves of Vatnajökull, Iceland. Beneath the largest glacier in Europe lies a world so beautiful and so alien that it barely seems to belong to this planet. Every winter, meltwater carves caves deep inside the Vatnajökull glacier in Iceland, creating chambers of pure, glowing blue ice. Inside these caves, the ice has been compressed over centuries until all the air bubbles have been squeezed out, creating ice so dense and pure that it glows an electric, otherworldly blue. Light filters through the glacier above, illuminating the caves with an eerie, magical glow. The walls appear to ripple and flow, frozen mid-movement like a wave that will never break. What makes these caves truly unreal is that they exist only temporarily. Each year, the glacier shifts and melts, destroying the old caves and carving new ones. No 2 years are ever the same. The cave you visit today will not exist next year. It is a landscape in constant motion, a frozen world that is always being reborn, offering a glimpse into the very heart of a living glacier. 7. Meteora, Greece. In central Greece, giant pillars of rock rise hundreds of meters into the air, and perched impossibly on top of them sit ancient monasteries that seem to float between heaven and earth. Meteora, whose name literally means suspended in the air, is one of the most surreal sights in all of Europe. The massive stone pillars were formed over millions of years by wind and water erosion, creating a forest of towering rock columns. In the 14th century, monks seeking isolation and closeness to God climbed these seemingly unclimbable pillars and built monasteries at their summits. For centuries, the only way up was by rope ladders and baskets hauled up by hand. Today, 6 monasteries still crown these dramatic pillars. From their windows, monks look out over a sea of stone towers, often wrapped in swirling mist that makes the monasteries appear to float in the clouds. At sunrise and sunset, the light paints the rocks in gold and rose. Meteora is a place where human faith and natural wonder combine into something that feels genuinely otherworldly. (8) The Algarve Caves, Portugal. Along the southern coast of Portugal, the relentless Atlantic Ocean has carved the Golden Cliffs into a masterpiece of natural architecture. The Vatnajökull cave is the crown jewel, a massive sea cavern with a perfect circular opening in its ceiling, like a natural skylight illuminating the golden chamber below. Sunlight pours through the opening above, illuminating the sandy beach inside the cave and reflecting off the turquoise water to fill the entire chamber with a warm, golden glow. The cave can only be reached by water, by kayak, boat, or for the brave, by swimming through the ocean into the cavern. The entire Algarve coastline is a wonderland of sea caves, hidden beaches, natural arches, and towering rock formations sculpted by millions of years of waves. Golden cliffs plunge into brilliant blue water. Secret beaches hide at the base of towering stone walls. But nothing compares to the moment you drift into the Vatnajökull cave and look up to see that perfect circle of sky, a natural cathedral built entirely by the sea. Number 9. Triglav and Lake, Bled, Slovenia. In the Julian Alps of Slovenia lies a landscape so perfect it seems designed by an artist. Lake Bled is an emerald green alpine lake with a tiny island at its center, crowned by a picturesque church whose bell tower rises against a backdrop of snow-capped mountains. On a cliff above the lake, a medieval castle stands guard. The setting is impossibly romantic. Traditional wooden boats called Plitvice ferry. Visitors to the island rode by hand exactly as they have been for centuries. Legend says that ringing the church bell on the island will make your wishes come true. The emerald water reflects the surrounding mountains and forests with mirror-like clarity. Nearby lies an even more hidden gem. Lake Bohinj, larger and wilder than Bled, sits surrounded by the towering peaks of Triglav National Park. And hidden in the mountains, the Vintgar Gorge cuts a dramatic path through the rock, where wooden walkways cling to canyon walls above rushing turquoise water. Slovenia proves that some of the most beautiful alpine scenery in Europe hides in one of its smallest countries. The Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. On the windswept coast of Northern Ireland lies a geological wonder so strange that ancient people believed it could only have been built by giants. The Giant's Causeway is a vast expanse of over 40,000 perfectly hexagonal stone columns fitting together like a honeycomb stretching into the sea. According to legend, the causeway was built by the giant Vatnajökull as a bridge to reach Scotland and battle a rival giant. In reality, the columns were formed 60 million years ago by ancient volcanic eruptions, when cooling lava cracked into these remarkable geometric shapes. But standing among them, watching the Atlantic waves crash over the impossible hexagons, it is easy to believe the legends. The columns rise and fall in stepped formations, some forming natural staircases, others rising like organ pipes from the sea. On a stormy day, with wild waves crashing and mist rising from the rocks, the Giant's Causeway feels like a place where myth and reality merge. It is one of the most unusual and dramatic coastlines anywhere in the world. (11) Saxon and the hidden Norwegian fjords. Now we travel to the dramatic coastlines of the far north, where the ocean cuts deep into towering mountains to create some of the most awe-inspiring landscapes on Earth. The fjords of Norway are long, narrow inlets of seawater flanked by cliffs that rise thousands of feet straight up from the water. The Geiranger Fjord is perhaps the most beautiful of all. Waterfalls cascade down sheer cliff faces, including the famous Seven Sisters Falls. Abandoned farms cling to impossibly steep ledges high above the water, reachable only by ladders. Cruise ships look tiny against the overwhelming scale of the cliffs. The water is so deep and still that it perfectly mirrors the mountains above. At the head of the Nærøyfjord, one of the narrowest fjords in the world, the cliffs press so close together that the sky becomes a narrow ribbon overhead. Snow-capped peaks tower above, mist drifts between the mountains. The silence is profound, broken only by the distant thunder of waterfalls. The Norwegian fjords are nature at its most epic and overwhelming, a landscape that makes you feel gloriously, humblingly small. (12) The Aurora. Over Lapland. For our final destination, we travel to the far north of Europe, to the frozen wilderness of Lapland, where the sky itself comes alive with one of the most magical phenomena on Earth. Across northern Norway, Sweden and Finland, the Aurora borealis, or northern lights, dance across the winter sky in waves of green, purple and pink. The lights are created when charged particles from the sun collide with the Earth's atmosphere, releasing energy as shimmering dancing curtains of colored light. On a clear winter night, far from any city, the entire sky can erupt in swirling ribbons of green and violet that ripple and flow like living things, reflecting off the snow-covered landscape below. Beneath these lights lies a winter wonderland of frozen forests, reindeer herds, and traditional Sami culture. You can sleep in glass igloos designed to watch the lights from your bed, or in hotels carved entirely from ice and snow. To stand alone in the Arctic silence, watching the sky explode in silent dancing color is one of the most profound and unreal experiences that Europe or anywhere on Earth has to offer. From glowing ice caves to monasteries floating in the clouds. From beaches hidden inside golden cliffs to skies dancing with color. From villages frozen in time to mountains that burn pink at sunset. This is the Europe that most travelers never see. A continent that hides wonders so strange and so beautiful that they feel more like dreams than real places. Beyond the famous cities and the crowded landmarks lies a wilder, stranger, more magical Europe, waiting for those who are willing to look a little deeper. These 12 places are only the beginning. Europe holds countless more secrets, hidden in remote corners, waiting to be discovered by travelers brave enough to leave the beaten path. The world is full of unreal places. Sometimes the most magical ones are closer than we ever imagined. If this journey amazed you, share it with someone who dreams of seeing the world, and tell us in the comments which of these unreal places you would visit first. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and never stop searching for the magic hidden in our extraordinary world.